Hello, my wonderful brothers and sisters all over the world. I want to congratulate all of us today as we celebrate the International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities. The annual observance of the International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities was proclaimed in 1992 by the resolution of the United Nations National Assembly. The aim is to promote an understanding of disability issues and also to mobilize support for the dignity, right, and well-being of persons living with disabilities. It also tends to point out the benefits of integrating persons with disabilities into the political, social, economic, and cultural aspects of life. The theme for this year's celebration is United in Action, Rescuing and Achieving the SDGs for, with, and by persons living with disabilities. Let me quickly remind us that the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) are a set of 17 global objectives aimed at eradicating poverty, promoting equality, and ensuring sustainable development for all. However, achieving these goals requires the active participation and inclusion of all individuals, including persons living with disabilities. It is crucial to recognize the unique perspective, strength, and contributions of persons living with disabilities in order to create an inclusive and equitable society. The theme of this year's International Day of Persons Living with Disabilities explores the importance of uniting in action to rescue and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals for, with, and by persons living with disabilities. In order to fully understand and appreciate the theme for this year's celebration, let us examine the components of the theme one after the other. Rescuing the Sustainable Development Goals. Persons with disabilities often face multiple barriers such as discrimination, lack of accessibility, and limited opportunities, which hinder their full participation in the society. To rescue the SDGs, it is essential to address these barriers and ensure that the rights and needs of persons with disabilities are prioritized. Governments, organizations, and communities must work together to remove physical, attitudinal, and systematic barriers that prevent the inclusion of persons living with disabilities. This includes providing accessible infrastructures, inclusive education, employment opportunities, and healthcare services. Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals with persons living with disabilities. Persons with disabilities possesses unique skills, talents, and perspectives that can contribute to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Their inclusion in decision-making processes is crucial to ensure that policies and programs are designed in a way that meets their specific needs. By involving persons with disabilities in the planning, implementation, and evaluation of initiatives, the society can harness the expertise of persons living with disabilities and ensure that no one is left behind. This requires creating platforms for meaningful participation, promoting disability inclusive leadership, and fostering partnership with disability organizations. Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by persons with disabilities. Persons living with disabilities are not passive recipients of assistance, but active agents of change. They have the potential to drive progress towards the Sustainable Development Goals by leveraging their skills, knowledge, and life experiences. Empowering persons with disabilities to become leaders, entrepreneurs, and advocates can create a ripple effect, inspiring others and challenging societal norms by supporting their entrepreneurship, providing access to education and training, and promoting their active participation in all spheres of life. We can unlock the full potentials of persons living with disabilities and accelerate progress towards the sustainable development goals. United in action. Achieving the sustainable development goals for, with, and by persons living with disabilities requires a united effort from governments, civil society organizations, private sector, and individuals. Collaborations and partnerships are essential to ensure that disability inclusive policies and practices are implemented at all levels. Government must enact and enforce legislation that protects the rights of persons living with disabilities, while businesses and organizations should prioritize accessibility and inclusion in their operations. Additionally, individuals can contribute by challenging stereotypes, promoting inclusivity, and advocating for the rights of persons living with disabilities. Finally, uniting in action to rescue and achieve the Sustainable Development Goals (SDGs) for, with, and by persons living with disabilities is not only a moral imperative but also a strategic approach towards sustainable development by recognizing the rights, strengths, and contributions of persons living with disabilities. We can create a more inclusive, equitable, and prosperous society for all. Let us work together to remove barriers, empower individuals, and ensure that no one is left behind on the journey towards achieving the Sustainable Development Goals. Once again, I want to appreciate each and every one of us for keeping hope alive and to encourage all of us to continue to live in peace with each other, because it is only through a united front that we can collectively drop down the yoke of burden which disability has thrown at us. As we go about celebrating today, let us not forget that an injury to one is an injury to all. Together we can make things happen, for there is nothing about us without us. I wish you all a wonderful celebration.